big focus is the Bengaluru water crisis this hour. Bengaluru is reeling under a water crisis as more than 3,000 borewells have dried up. Additionally, prices of water tankers have risen by 1,000 rupees. Residents have expressed their ire over the past week amidst water scarcity. To tackle this issue, the Karnataka government has earmarked 556 crore rupees and tapped the prices of water tankers. Additionally, each MLA representing constituencies in Bengaluru has been allotted a budget of 10 crore rupees to address this. Meanwhile, schools have been shut down and the usage of drinking water for non-essential tasks such as gardening and washing cars has also been banned. The Karnataka government has also imposed a 5,000 rupee fine in case this is violated. Now, Bengaluru receives about 2,100 million litres of water per day, yet faces a shortfall of 1,680 million litres per day. This is not all, though. Industries are also facing imminent shutdown. According to experts, water supply to industries is reduced by 60% and 50% of industrial units are stunted. This has adversely impacted 16,000 industrial units and the livelihood of over 12 lakh workers is in danger. Now, one possible solution to address this is wastewater treatment. In this regard, Bangalore Water Supply and Sewerage Board has earlier charted out a comprehensive plan to tackle this by building a new sewage treatment plant. Tenders were issued in January 2023 and in December, the Karnataka government informed that it would be ready to use by 2024, but operations reportedly have still not commenced. Now, joining us to look at this story in greater detail is Upendra Rawal, Senior Citizen Study Group, Collaborative Approach to Sewage Dynamics. We also have Revati Ashok, CEO and MD, PPAC, Bangalore Political Action Committee. Also with us is Shekhar Vijayan, activist, Vikas Brahmwar, Director, Worsens White Paper also joins us live. Upendra Rawal, let me begin with you first. What really, according to you, is causing this crisis in Bengaluru?
The crisis in Bengaluru is worldwide, and Bengaluru is not alone. The main reason is water is looking for employing water to mechanical functions, power generations and all that. And hydraulics is about liquid, not necessarily water alone. Hydrology is the life supporting water, which is protonated water H3O, not known to engineers, and certainly not to many of us. So H2O is inert, and of the liquid water is H3O, and our curricula do not cover that. And therefore, Bangalore, with all that data in the cloud, those data will not come back as a drop of rain. And that's why Bangalore is suffering.
Yes. Okay. Revati Ashok, the fact is that this crisis now is not, is not ending anytime soon, it seems, because every day we're seeing the crisis expand. We're seeing new measures being taken because obviously a solution is not being found as yet.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we have to look at two ends of the spectrum. One is demand and then there is supply. The water crisis, the water crisis can end only if we manage both the demand and the supply of water efficiently. And we tend to think that, just keep bringing more Kaveri water in and then that's the only source of the problem. But really, clearly, there is a lot that can be done. We have spoken about this before. Wastewater is clearly a very big source of supply. And in fact, actually to use the treated water in Jakkur area, they have started using treated water and putting it back into the lakes. And then there is a further filtration system so that it is safe, so that people don't feel that, there is some shortcut which has been taken. And so double and triple filtration is done and then it is supplied back. So the important thing is our lakes have run dry. But at the same time, a number of apartment complexes, number of companies are all doing secondary and tertiary treatment of water. All this water is more than what they can consume in their respective areas. So there has to be a proper market for this water. And that is where next speaker, Vikas, will speak, because he's actually started supplying treated water to several industries. And that needs to happen at scale. Happens at scale, and we ban complete usage of water for construction activities and certain specified industrial activities, and make sure that only treated water is used and it is publicized well, then I think we can solve the problem. And apart from that, we also need to insist on rainwater harvesting. So wastewater treatment, rainwater harvesting, and ensuring that we consume very little water, only 133 liters. We go beyond 133 liters to restrict every person to be consuming only 133 MLDs. So these are the kinds of steps that we have to take if we have to ensure that the water crisis is averted. It's all in our hands. And 29% of the water, 27% of the water as of today is getting wasted. And that is something that clearly is the responsibility of government and citizens to ensure that they don't waste water.
Yes, absolutely. Let me, in fact, also quickly, take that across to Shekhar Vijayan. Shekhar Vijayan, as a citizen there and an activist, what is your view on this, this terrible crisis? What do you believe has caused it, according to you? And how frustrating is it to currently be living in Bengaluru and dealing with it?
Uday, thank you for having me over and to my very interesting and versatile panelist. See, Uday, I think more than anything else, there is lack of planning here. And the world is facing this problem. And, in situations like this, we usually end up talking about this on TV. And need of the hour is proactive planning. The need of the hour is experts getting together and coming up with a solution which can work with the government in framing a solution here. We have always noticed that whenever floods happen in Bangalore, there's discussion around it. And thanks to the proactiveness, your channel has showed, we're actually discussing something which is very, very, very important for Bangalore. And I think the problem is only going to get worsened in the days to come. I think the only way out here is, one, have a deep study around it, to the different, we're talking about welfare associations, how we can save water, how we can conserve water. And I think it's also really important that the government leads from the front here. Which are really important. This is basic human necessity. We are privileged right now as we talk, but I'm talking about the poor and the downtrodden. And it's a situation for them. So we'll have to attack this we're having out there. This is a war for ages, and I think the only way out is a lot of proactive planning. We need to get experts right in there to discuss this. Look at the various water conservation, water harvest, and various things around it. Because Karnataka as a state is very, very dependent on Kaveri, and it's very important that this issue is dealt with in a very collaborative manner. I believe there's no dearth of actual power in Bangalore where we can get experts to come in together and discuss solutions. So I think what's really important is implementation more than anything else. Get the right people on board right away rather than just waiting for things to happen. And we've noticed this, but implementation very rarely happens here. I think it's lack of leadership will here more than anything else. Because once I think our population understands this, that's Karnataka understands this, Bangalore understands this, the urban population understands that how important is water usage. I think everybody will get the message on board. And like I said earlier, this will only deepen further because summer has just started across India. And as we know that this year, very hot like it happens every year. So we are planning, being proactive, get the experts on board, talk about recycling, talk about, how can we do a wastewater treatment and what are the logics involved get politics out of the way, and let's get a solution which works for everybody. Because Bangalore has grown exponentially in the last 10, 15 years, and that's happened across Bangalore. Massive amount of people living, there's no idea. Rather than just getting a band-aid solution, I think a collaborative approach is the need of our.
Yes, because Pramod, what is taking so long though, to find a solution to lead to some way out of this crisis? Because these short-term measures are clearly not working, and something perhaps more long-term is needed.
Yes, thank you for having me here. So, if we look at long-term, as a city, Bangalore has enormous amount of wastewater. So we have always been dependent on fresh water from Kaveri, and now the situation is, the crisis is on the groundwater which is available. It is not the municipal supply. Most of the areas in Bangalore depend on tanker water, so that is where the actual scarcity is coming from. So as a city, as all the cities in India, so we look at water coming into our dams as a primary source of water supply. Say the government decides our dam level is so much and then distribute the water. But I think that has to change from the population and predictable volume of water going out of the city. For example, there is a population known and we know the exact volume of water going out of the city. If we are able to plan the industrial water requirement from the water going out of the city and keep fresh water specifically for fresh water demand as a holistic long-term solution, that's the only way to do it. Now, coming to the crisis, why is this crisis? Many lakes went on desilting recently. So because of desilting, many lakes does not have enough water, treated STP water. They don't have enough water. Say if you say Varatur, Belandur, all these places don't have enough water. There is no percolation which has happened to the borewells. There is no borewell. So all the borewells are dry. Tanker guys go far away to extract water, and that's why prices increase. So all these are one by one leading to the major problem of crisis. Now, long-term government, from the government side, they have started thinking on how do we look at the existing lake networks in the city and how do we manage the wastewater network. When we start looking at the wastewater network and enabling supply, at least for industrial, leaving out the psychological barrier of people using it, drinking it, at least for industrial supply, 330 MLD is required just in few areas in Bangalore. So if we are able to just address the industrial water supply, we don't have issues with industry shutting down because of lack of water and things like that. Now, coming to individual decentralized networks. So we have always been looking at large 1,000 crore, 500 crore large projects on government STPs. As the city is filled with so many apartments, there are 3,500 plus apartments who have decentralized STP. People use only 20-30% of the treated water for their flushing and garden. The remaining 75-80% of water, people just send it out because they don't have avenues to use it. If you're able to channelize that excess STP treated water and make that being available to an industry nearby, then the problem in that locality gets solved. Now, why has it not happened before? The wastewater did not have any value to it. So whenever we call recycling, what we believe is if we are able to give a quality way better than either municipal water or borewell water, people will start adopting it. People will be ready to pay higher price because the quality is higher. Industries, domestic application, all of them will be able to afford high quality water. And this is not from the fresh water which is exploited. If you take tankers also, we all say tankers increase the price. From their side, they don't have enough water. They travel longer to take water. So obviously the transportation eats up their margin. They have to increase the price. Now, if they don't have the source, then who will supply water? Bangalore is 40% dependent on tanker water. Now, we can't take control of existing tanker network also. The only way for all cities in India to sustain is to recover any water in a specific location and reuse in the same location so that the industry in that location don't use exploited water rather than use retreated high quality water in the same region. Now, can government do it? Government can impose policies and things like that. Things are moving faster recently. And can citizens do it? Yes, citizens should do it. Meaning, if rainwater harvesting is not done in an apartment, that's criminal. That's the first basic thing which someone has to do. And wastewater should be looked at as a valuable resource. And apartment association think that they have to look at long-term sustenance of the apartment. I hear apartments saying, we don't have water, we don't have water. What should be done, at least for the next year, should be looked at it. This year we are suffering, we will suffer for the next few months. until we find a permanent solution, long-term solution for this, there is no way forward. Thank you for having me.
Yes, what is a long-term solution in your opinion, Revati Ashok, and what is taking so long to find it? Why just short-term measures which will perhaps ease out the crisis for now, but perhaps lead to it being back very soon, once summer gets hotter and water gets more parched?
No, I think Bangalore has enough supply. I think the demand, it's all about poor management of water. We have to reduce the transmission and distribution losses. It has been coming down. At a particular point in time, it was as high as 52%. And in a few years, it has come down to 27. But even 27% in a water-parched city, it's a very high number. You know, if you are looking at a 1450 MLD 1470 MLD availability and 27% of it getting leaked out, I think that's a very big number. The math is very clear. So BWCSSB on the one hand has to ensure that they plug the leakages. It's a time-bound program that they have to bring it down to 5% and take active steps to bring that down. As Vikas had already mentioned, we have to have active usage of wastewater. We know that all the one good thing about the government is after a few years of pushing the policy of all apartment complexes and large campuses having to have their own wastewater treatment plant, a lot of them have, but all that water gets wasted, only 30% gets used. Now, therefore, we have to create a market and an exchange for this. I'm sure there will be some innovative startups who can really start this, just like an Uber, collect the water and distribute to people who have it, and there will be, certain quality parameters which will have to be adhered to. And if that happens, the demand and supply gap can be easily met, but that has to be supported through policy which says that industrial use, first point of call, both industrial and construction. Construction is another big user of water. Both cannot be allowed to use fresh water unless it is mandated because of certain health reasons or certain other reasons. Now, for specific exceptions, they can provide, but otherwise they have to be forced to use treated water. That itself will create the market. So I think doing these two things, and then the Kaveri stage, next stage is coming on stream in May. Hopefully, even if it doesn't happen in May, by next year, hopefully that would have caught up. But creating more and more supply is not the solution. We have to learn how to manage demand.
Yes, no doubt. The demand needs to be managed better, and perhaps allocations need to be improved. Is that the way forward, Upendra Rawal?
Water is beyond stock management and beyond arithmetic. Demand and supply, the market principles do not apply. It is all about our water illiteracy and sewage illiteracy. World over, no STP is working. Take it from me. Because the engineers are not taught biology in their curricula. And sewage is basically a biological science, which is climate linked. We are talking about KLD and MLD and 2 feet diameter to 6 feet diameter pipe. That's not water. That is metallic infrastructure. The point is, USA with all their advanced technology and everything, maybe 50 to 100 times budget that we have for water treatment, the total recyclable water used is 2%. Let's come to understand what is sewage. What we eat is apple and almonds and oats. What comes out, nobody knows. So what is sewage? World over, there is no agreement among the International Terminology Committee on the definition of the word sewage. Somebody says that it is a source in transit. Somebody says it's wealth from waste. The point is, sewage is a climate-linked biological science. In none of the panels, none of the programs, none of the curricula. For example, Professor Ramchandran, Indian Institute of Sciences, Bangalore, 10 years ago, he published a paper The emergency is not today. We woke up today. Professor Mudgal prophesied this in 1990. The whole point is water is not a tradable commodity. And if you see the overall water market of the world, the fossil fuel market is just the peanut before the water market. But the life supporting liquid, we are using it for tradable goods. That's not going to take us anywhere. Forget about all our specializations. Bangalore in 1890 had 56 liter per capita water supply, and it was the the Garden of Eden on this planet. From Bangalore to Bengaluru at 250 liter per capita, it is the most non-sustainable city. So the water supply has gone up 4 times, and it will still grow as the population grows. But that arithmetic projection will, where are we going to bring water from? Sewage treatment illiteracy is the cause world over, not Bangalore alone. It be it Surat, Bombay, Calcutta, Madras, Delhi, whatever. So unless we understand the science of sewage, because Bangalore has nearly 170 to 200 days of rains per year, and we are using the pristine water to flush the poop. On top of it, we want to claim the Silicon City. Where is the intelligence? Where is the respect for natural resources? Let us understand that where has the Garden of Eden gone, and how do we bring it back? And we can, because we only spoiled it. So what we spoiled, we undo it, we can bring it back. And I'm sure with Bangalore geniuses around, much more will be possible, is possible. But sewage illiteracy will have to rewrite our textbooks. Thank you for giving me this platform.
Yes. And do you believe then this is, Shekhar Vijayan, also a wake-up call for other cities? You know, what is happening to Bengaluru today can happen to other cities tomorrow as well.
Absolutely, it will happen. It's like, I think that's something which we all need to be conscious of. And like Sir just mentioned, I think it's very important for the experts to come in and, you know, explain the situation to us. And, you know, like he mentioned, which is a very interesting point, we're talking about water is not a tradable commodity. So very soon it might just become. So I think we need to be conscious of that, and we need to see what we can do to help the future generations also. I think that's really critical.
Yes, okay. Well, let me in fact quickly take that across to Vikas. Vikas, what lessons should other cities learn as well? You know, what is going to be a long-term solution for Bengaluru, and what immediate lessons should other cities learn so they don't have to be proactive the same way as Bengaluru is now having to be?
Yes, so we did an estimate. The next, as per our calculation, Hyderabad is going to face some issue, and Coimbatore, Pune, all these are in line in terms of facing the similar kind of issue. So what should cities do? They should look at what is their current wastewater infrastructure, what is their current wastewater going out of the city, what are they doing with that water, not just giving all the wastewater to the streams and let it go to some agriculture, let it go to the next city. It should be completely changed. What are we doing with our wastewater network? That is first to be looked at. Second, as Rawal sir said on per capita consumption, so that needs to be, I wish instead of seeing traffic lights in future, we should have big boards saying that this ward has so much consumption of water this week, and it is reduced, it is increased. Red color light should flash, people should see in their traffic signal. And I think it is too extreme from some people's perspective, but how else can we make people think about water they use? So this is one such. I think in Australia they did this earlier, Australia and Cape Town, when they had similar kind of situation. For awareness, they got this out to people where everyone is aware that there is scarcity. And we should move away from, we will get water when we pay money. So that is one big mindset change. I have money, I pay, and then I get water, meaning that mindset has to change. third thing I feel is this wastewater yuck factor in terms of we assume that wastewater is the water which we see in our flush. But if technologies are right, if the implementations are right, this can be fresh water which comes back to the cycle. Nature does that. Nature has been doing that. We don't have water coming in from Moon, Pluto. We don't have water coming outside Earth. So it is the same water which is getting back into a cycle.
Okay.
If we're able to understand this.
Absolutely. We've run out of time. I'm going to have to leave it at that. My thanks to all of our guests for joining us.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.